There's one right there. Little tap. I got weight. I let him load up. I like to wait for one more bump. There it is. That's a nice flounder. There we go. There we go. It's a good one there. Pretty fish right there, yeah. Let's get a view of that mare, Crush City mare down the hatch. Hey y'all, it's Kyle with Inshore Edge. So today it was an awesome day. I had basically two different patterns going and ended up with a cooler full of flounder and reds. And so I basically split this up into two videos. I was able to do two different distinct techniques, two different species of fish, and I was able to teach the whole time to both of those. So it was just one of those awesome days. It produced two videos. And so this video is going to be the flounder portion where I break down how to find flounder in our coastal marshes. So I hope you enjoy. Oh man, I hope that made it on. That flounder just went airborne. He didn't know he's hooked. He doesn't even know he's hooked. Yes. Man, I don't know if that showed up on video. That flounder went airborne 3 feet out of the water after I set the hook. That's what I'm after, y'all. That's what I'm after right there. $18.5-inch flounder. Nice fish. There it is. There you go, flounder. Here's a flounder. He's very big though. Not bad. There we go. Nice little flounder. Little 15-inch flounder. Ate all of that swim bait. Good eating. So the water's pulled out of the marsh. And so now, unlike earlier when it was high tide, a lot of water, I'm starting to catch these flounder further out now. Kind of not necessarily on the grass line, but like on the drop off, the slope. That's just them repositioning throughout the dropping tide. Also, what's going on simultaneously was not going on this morning. We got a lot of pogies that are in the main channel. There's another fish right there. Set the hook, give him a second. Oh, I got off. There's a flounder. Dang it. But the pogies are starting to get closer to the channel edges now. And so that's another food source that these flounder can position themselves by getting closer to the drop-off to get closer to these pogies. It's kind of neat how that happens. Just through the dropping tide. They go from probably feeding up in the creeks and up on the marsh grass, real scattered, and now they're starting to get concentrated. That was two fish in the same spot, right on a drop-off. So that's a pattern change. So now I'm slowing down, maintaining contact. Even as I'm coming down the slope to the boat, I'm staying down. Keeping that bait on the bottom, keeping that rod tip down, working it all the way back. Got some trout down there too. Flounder. There we go. It's chewing on it. key, more so than ever, is bottom contact right now. These flounder are kind of hanging on the slope now. They're off the grass line. And like I'm sitting in 10 feet of water right now, not even 15 yards from the grass. And so it's a pretty steep mud slope. And they're kind of positioned either right up on it or just kind of down the slope. They're still flat on the bottom. And it's pretty clear to me that they're doing that because these pogies are getting close. Big schools of menhaden. They can pick those off. So on that slope, it's very important to just kind of go real slow, twitch it, let it sink. Because when it drops, you don't want it to pendulum back to your boat, way over the bottom. You want it to crawl down the bottom. So you got to keep it rod tip down as you get close to the boat, especially in close quarters like this. And then just know as you go down the hill, it'll drop and you just let slack so it makes contact again. And that's the key. Next one, right there, right on that slope. He's in like 8 feet of water. That's not a good one. It's a nice fish. Oh, I barely got him on. Oh yeah. Yes, sir. That hook came right out. Barely had him. Got a net fast. That fish. Another 16-inch fish. Got him in quick. That green pumpkin disco is such a good color. It's basically kind of got like a silvery belly, green pumpkin back, and then a lot of silver flake in it. It shows up really well in clear water and stained water. So it's very versatile. Love baits like that. There's one right there. A little tap. I got weight. I let them load up. I like to wait for one more bump. There it is. That's a nice flounder. There we go. There we go. It's a good one there. Pretty fish right there, yeah. Let's get a view of that mare, Crush City mare down the hatch. I love when stuff like this happens out here. And this is kind of, man, this is the kind of stuff I wish I could, well, that's the whole goal of this, is to kind of share, and hopefully y'all can learn this and have awesome success. But like I said, the pattern that's developing and has really happened already. Like I said, these fish are moving out. And now it's like there's a bunch of them and they're all on that slope. It's becoming kind of easy fishing. But it's becoming easy because I realized what they were doing, what the pattern is. You know, you spend time out here and it all stems from the why. Like I always ask the why. Why is this happening? What are these fish doing? You know, I'm not trying to get down to the microbiology of nature out here, but I do want to know why these fish do what they do on different tides, different conditions, what bait they're trying to eat, that kind of thing. And you can get there. It's not hard. I've always done a lot of reading. And then you just ask that question. Like, you don't just roll up on these fish and just be like, okay, well, it's a good bite. Man, we just really got them good that day. That was awesome. You want to know why. That way you can look for that again. And so they're setting up kind of how like I suspected I kind of knew, even on a new area, that they would do this because it's just what they do. And then so once you get in here and you start seeing where that likely is, you're kind of there when it happens. And sure enough, they're sitting there waiting. And so that's kind of like share the why of the matter. So let's catch some more. There's one. There's one. Little guy. Might keep. See, now I'm not even throwing up to the grass that much. They're proving to me they're like right on this slope. I really think they're getting some of that pogey action, the menhaden. I see schools of pogey underneath the boat, like down at the bottom of the slope into the channel. And I'm just crawling it, is all I'm doing. My whole goal is to maintain bottom contact. That's the other important thing about having a good swim bait that has real good action, because it's moving and that tail's kicking even when I'm not hopping or skipping it and I'm not imparting a lot of action. And so in situations like this where I want to keep it on the bottom and all my focus is just maintaining bottom contact, it's working for me. I don't actually have to make it work. I don't have to make it that tail kick and all that stuff. And so that's soft plastic, realistic plastic Rapala Crush City uses is key in this situation. Also lock in on that, so I know they're on the slope, but lock in what depth they are. Those fish came in about 7 to 8 feet. And so my slope is changing as I get up towards this creek mouth. It starts to shallow out a little bit. So I looked down and saw I was in 6 feet. So I'm stepping back a little bit. I moved back and kind of cast into that, I'm gonna say the 5 to 8 foot range. Until they tell you otherwise, that's how it works. And it matters. These fish will all do the same stuff for the most part, within a few feet. Especially if they're trying to get close to the channel to eat these pogies. Think it wanted it. It wanted it. And probably not coincidentally, it's getting hotter. And so they're in that cooler water now for sure. Still feeding. And here I am, as long as you can tolerate it, which is not bad today. Lots of cloud cover, nice breeze. You can keep catching them. That's one of the nice things about flounder. Catch them all day long. And I am casting up against the current and bringing the bait with the current. So that's key too. I think that's super important when flounder fishing. Laying on the bottom like that, they get one chance. Explosive jump off the bottom. And so when they get that bait coming the direction that they're facing, they see it sooner than coming up behind them. And it's closer to the bottom typically when you're bringing it with the current. When you're bringing it against the current, your bait will rise, your lure will rise all the time. And a lot of times you'll be fishing too high. All right, y'all, as always, we got a recap. So that was quite a few flounder we caught. It was a good day. Love eating flounder. So, and I also love fishing for them too. I think I've always connect the former bass fisherman in me. I fished for a lot of things, crappie, bass, you name it. But the bass fishing side, just crawling a worm or bouncing a jig through structure is just very similar to how I like to fish for flounder. And so instead of setting the hook on a bass, you're setting the hook on a big old flatfish. And so it's very fun in that aspect. They're so aggressive when you do bounce your lure across one, the way they hit it. It's just a blast. I really enjoy it. I enjoy their aggression. Just a cool fish. I think we can all agree. Flatfish, that whole species are just pretty neat. So anyhow, as you saw today, got to talk about a few different patterns when these fish were up shallow on a high outgoing tide, and then as that tide moved out, you'll as you heard me talk, they move off onto some ledges and things like that. And you'll see, as you saw, kind of approach those different ways to put some fish in the cooler. So one of my go-tos, I'll mix it up as I start getting onto flounder. I'll start getting into some other lures. I'm a tackle junkie. I love to fish all kinds of baits. But when it comes down to just flat out finding fish, and which I had not been on flounder bite much this summer, it's mostly just learning these bigger trout. I wanted to show you, I wanted to get on some flounder and show you how to find them. And so I go to my confidence bait, just like you should always go to your confidence baits when you're trying to find fish, especially if you're trying to put into practice picking up patterns and learning where these fish are. You need to be throwing a lure that you believe that you will get bit on. And so for me, it's the Rapala Crush City mare. It's a 4-inch swim bait. Now, no big surprise that flounder love paddle tail swim baits. There's a million out there. I like this one because it's super soft. It's got great tail action, great colors. It fits great on a 5/0 wide gap. That's how I like to fish it, on an extra wide gap. That's a 3/16 ounce. I like the little bit heavier weight so I can maintain that bottom contact. And it's great. It's versatile. It also gets bit by reds and trout. And so you really can learn and discover a lot of things when you just go fishing with it. And so, again, we got into the flounder again today, and so again, I was super psyched to be able to show you a lot of the things I look for when I'm fishing for flounder in marshes, and that's the key. Today was in the marshes. You'll see lots of marsh grass in the background. All right, so appreciate you following, appreciate you subscribing, and so with that said, on YouTube, if you're watching along, or this video came across your feed, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube and follow and like on Facebook. That way every video I pop up, whether it's a short or it's a reel or a video or just reports I like to give on what's going on in my neck of the woods down here on the Gulf Coast, Mississippi coast, that'll come across your feed always now. You'll never miss one. And so that's all it is. I don't solicit anything. I don't produce a bunch of 5 days a reel or 5 reels a day that just come across your feed over and over again. I produce mostly long form content where I like to be heavy on teaching and hope to show you, impart or educate on fishing and saltwater fishing, and ultimately to help you get to the point where you can get out and catch the heck out of fish and really have that joy and those memories come along with it. So appreciate it. This has been Kyle with Inshore Edge.